Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, back in the studio on a Tuesday morning. So unfortunately, Ned's plans got all screwed up last night. I set it up for him, and I'm probably to blame for that by saying, this is what's going to be like, bud. Crossword puzzle, whiskey, game 3, rain out. I'm sorry.
So we eliminated just one, and that was a baseball game, but the whiskey and the crossword puzzle,
in the dark.
They were there.
With a flashlight so the kids don't think he's passing out candy.
Well, unfortunately, they could see, but it didn't. However, it didn't have any callers, so that was all right.
That's not bad. Well, we'll talk baseball down the line. Let's talk about the NFL trading deadline right now. 3 p.m. today is when it cuts off. Andy Reid in his press conference yesterday said they could do something still. Do you think it's likely?
I think the chances are probably 70-30 no, that they would not do anything. There had been talk in the Chiefs camp and in the National Football League, for that matter, about Josh Allen, who is a pass rusher from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who's
awesome to get.
Pretty good,
yeah.
But that's probably going to be pretty expensive. So could the Chiefs afford to trade anybody? They could. And McCole Hardman is on there. He's had an up-and-down year. Ronald Jones, he wants out. He wants to be released, so they could possibly trade him if anybody would want him. The big tight end, Blake Bell, who's been injured, he would be a candidate possibly to be traded. But bottom line is this, Mike, I don't think they are going to make any deals. I think they're satisfied with the roster. Why wouldn't they be? This is arguably, certainly, well, let's put it this way, among the best teams in the NFL. I'm not going to go so far as to say they are the best, but among the best. And why tinker with the roster? You've got a pretty good level of player in there, so hey, stay with what you've got.
You're absolutely right, and pretty much across the board, Chiefs are sitting at 3 as far as the power rankings.
Which don't mean a thing.
I know, but your boys, the green and white, in most lists are one above us, and the Bills on top.
Which doesn't mean a thing because you take a look at the difference in the schedules, and they are huge.
Yeah.
Kansas City's played a much tougher schedule.
Oh, hell yeah, they have. But, again, the Eagles not looking too bad, but that's going to probably hurt them down the line when we get into the postseason because they've had such easy competition, and you haven't had to face some behemoths like the Chiefs have. Well, we'll see. You never know, man. It's the NFL, and crazy things happen all the time. So, not much room for losing at Auburn, huh? What's the story there, Ned?
Brian Harsin came in from Boise State as Auburn's savior for the football program a little over 2 years, and he's out of there. All right, now is that fair? Well, 9 wins and 12 losses is what Harsin was able to concoct in his very brief time at Auburn. But it's win or go home, or get out, or whatever. And Harsin is out of there. I don't know what his buyout is, but he was fired yesterday as Auburn's coach. Auburn lost to Arkansas on Saturday, and I guess the folks down in eastern Alabama thought that's totally unacceptable because he is gone. Now, who do they go after? Well, there are already some big names being mentioned. Auburn's a pretty good job now. That's Southeastern Conference, Western Division, I beg your pardon, and is a pretty doggone lucrative program for everybody. Playing Jordan-Hare Stadium, it's sold out all the time, and it's a very big deal. All right, they're talking perhaps about Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. Would he go to Auburn? I don't know. He's got a pretty good job at Ole Miss. Hugh Freeze is the interesting name that's being mentioned. Coach Freeze is the head coach at Liberty, and Liberty has opened some eyes this year. Liberty, incidentally, plays Arkansas this week down in Fayetteville. Liberty, a couple weeks ago, beat Brigham Young in Lynchburg, Virginia. Liberty is graduated up from 1AA to 1A, and they are making a name for themselves. It's a pretty doggone good football program. Freeze came over from Ole Miss, and he ran into trouble there. Would the SEC welcome him back? Well, who knows. But anyway, the Auburn Ball Club and Nebraska and several others, Arizona State, they're all looking for new head football coaches. And there are some out there on the horizon.
And it could be from college or it could be from the NFL. Either way, you never know. All right, so with the rain out last night, what did you end up watching? Night of the Living Dead?
Oh, no. Friday
the 13th.
Matter of fact, not a whole lot. I did watch the football game for a little while, but had no interest in Cleveland and Cincinnati, which was won by Cleveland big time. So, no, didn't really do a whole lot other than the crossword puzzle and that other magic ingredient.
Isn't that crazy what's going on with the Rams and the Bengals this year. It's both like I've heard the phrase "win now and screw the rest of." Screw whatever happens afterwards, and you're seeing what happens when you do that with a team with the Rams and the Bengals.
Play both those teams, both the Bengals and the Rams, and neither one of them. These are the Super Bowl teams, folks, from last year.
They are not looking super good.
Cincinnati playing Cleveland. Cincinnati was a big favorite in that game over Cleveland, even with the game in Cleveland, and the Browns just took it to them right from the very beginning. 32-13 final score. Good gracious! I mean, this is a rout. And it was all Cleveland.
So with the series rain out, there's trade talk, and the Cardinals might be involved.
Of course, there can't be any trading or dealing at all until after the World Series is over, but there can be talk, and there certainly is. Cardinals seem to think, or at least the media seems to think, that the team needs a catcher. Of course, Yachty has retired, and you have Kisner on the team, who's a former Springfield Cardinal, and you have Herrera on the team, also a former Springfield Cardinal. But there is some hint that perhaps the big club is not overly happy with what their catching situation is. So Wilson Contreras is on the market. He'll be a free agent from the Chicago Cubs. He'd be very good. Now, Contreras has been around for a couple of years. He knows the subtle techniques of catching. He's been with the Chicago Cubs program that was a champion back in the mid-teens, 2016. These guys can play, and they know the game very well, so it's possible the Cardinals might be able to sign him, but then again, St. Louis has plenty of money. That's not a problem. With Arenado and perhaps with Goldschmidt and perhaps with the Contreras in there. Now, Contreras doesn't have their bat, but he certainly is not a slouch at the plate. There might be some kind of a dealing along the lines there. You just don't know until things take place, and it'll be the rest of the winter when that happens.
Crazy, but you can't do any trading with players, but when it comes to managers, you can do whatever you want.
That's a different story, and the Kansas City Royals do have their new manager. His name is Matt Quatraro. It's a rather unusual spelling and pronunciation of the name Quatraro. He is the bench coach for the Tampa Bay Tampa Bay Rays. We get all these teams mixed up after a while.
Well, they keep changing it. They change cities every 2 or 3 years, and I don't know, after 65 years, you're probably like, I don't even know where the hell these guys are now. They started in Cleveland, now they're in Houston.
Well, Quatraro has been the bench boss for the Tampa Bay Rays, and has had a good year. The guy is a baseball man, went to college at Old Dominion in Norfolk, Virginia, and was an All-America, but not a Major League Baseball player. Did compete in the minor leagues, in the Rays system, and in several other systems, but has been a coach and a minor league manager all throughout the rest of his career. Well, the Royals seem to think that he was their best choice, and they have signed him. He is reported to be a player's manager, a guy they like to be around, so we'll find out, because Matt Quatraro, and it's spelled Quatraro, Quatraro, he takes over as the new manager with the Royals.
It's going to be interesting to see, but new blood, you never know. Could be another building year, though, which I'm not looking forward to. All right, speaking of which, we were talking about this before the break. Bengals just not have had a good year after almost winning the whole thing last year. It's unfortunate to see, but I don't really care because I'm a Chiefs fan. But it was the Battle of Ohio last night, Monday Night Football. Who won?
The battle goes to Cleveland. They played the game in Cleveland, and the Cleveland Browns just ran away. They did everything right. Kareem Hunt had a big night rushing. Cleveland was pretty much on the ground. Now, Jacoby Brissett is their quarterback at least for another couple of games until Mr. Deshaun Watson, if he's allowed to take uniform, will be in uniform, and I suspect he will be. But the fact is that Brissett was doing a pretty good job finding his targets. He did get nailed a couple of times in the backfield, but over and above that, Cincinnati is not playing very well. They don't seem to be well-rounded. Jeff Burrow's having problems at quarterback. He doesn't have an effective offensive line. His team's this is the Super Bowl runner-up, folks, and to see them, and as you pointed out earlier, the Rams playing as badly as they have, boy, that is a puzzle to say the very least. But it's also the National Football League, the way the NFL likes it. You need to have a transition and new teams in there every year. dynasties like the Patriots. Probably we're not going to see that ever again.
Thank
but
God.
Over and
Unless
above
it's in
all that,
Kansas City.
Well, yeah, you'd change your tone a bit if it was the red and white, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Hell yeah, I would, my
Nothing
man.
like a homer, folks. Nothing like a homer.
Yes, well, hey, I wear my colors on my chest, unlike some people in this room, Ned. You have a great day. Enjoy Game 3 tonight, sir. I'll see you tomorrow.